Common Sense Media activated.
Live from the 210, it's the Wave of the Few Short Show, and we are your hosts, Mr. Trey M. Carr, and I am E. James.
Welcome to Wave of the Few Shore, aka WFS. We're just a few fellas navigating the waters of life. Some from the head, some from the heart. But before we get started, I just want to say we are very excited to bring my best friend, good friend of mine, and future collaborator, Big Rich, on the show. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you guys. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. How's everyone doing today?
Feeling great, feeling good.
Welcome on, man. First inaugural guest. Congrats.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, let me hit the little clap on him real quick. Oh, I gotta have
Got
the
the clap,
applause.
man. There we go. Yeah.
All right. No, a little bit of
Oh, wow. That's all
I was
good.
gonna hit you with this.
Big Rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take it. I'll take
So
that.
this week's episode is gonna be a good one, y'all. We're gonna be talking about after 36 years, MTV News is saying goodbye. You hear it
No.
first.
Not MTV
Right.
News.
We're gonna dive into the Ja Morant drama, and this one is for the culture. And when I say the culture, San Antonio culture, basketball culture, French culture, the culture of sports ball. Hey, disclaimer. Actually, not really a disclaimer. I will say this. For our fans out there who are not heavy in the sports, don't worry. We're not talking X's and O's, aka strategy. We're not talking stats. These are very specific windows into these players and how they're on two different trajectories thus far, early in their lives and their careers. But more of that to come. Let's get this gratitude going. Wants to kick that off.
Just want to shout out my family. We had a good little Memorial Day lunch today. It was nice to see everybody again and made some really good baked potatoes. Yeah, I contributed that. Yeah, I learned the Alton Brown way. Yeah,
That sounds
you
good.
get a little olive oil, a little salt, makes it crispy on the outside,
Yeah, there
soft
you
on the
go.
inside. Yeah,
There you go.
so
Oh, that sounds good. I didn't know you can.
That's how you
Wow.
do it.
Okay.
Kosher salt.
This
Damn.
is how you cook it.
yeah, all my effort today.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
tip
dude,
on the
it's-
olive
it
oil.
makes like a pocket, and it cooks itself with the little pocket of oil.
Oh, that's what's up.
So, do you put it in the oven or do you put it?
Yeah, you're supposed
Okay.
to just split it down the
So
middle
I-
and then fluff it like afterwards, and it just goes poof. It's cool.
Yeah, I know for me, we have these little bags you put inside the microwave. You put the little potato in there and it makes it pretty good. But yeah.
Interesting.
So shout out to potatoes too.
Hey, man, as I've gotten
Those are
older, my
gratitude.
favorite tacos become the potato, egg, and cheese, man. Can't get, especially when they do like crispy potato. What about you, Trey?
Man, I just pick it up on Carr's Memorial Day hint. I just want to give a happy Memorial Day out there to all our veterans and give a special shout out to a couple of the veterans that were in my life. Both of my grandfathers are retired Air Force, and they have both left this realm. So I just want to give a special shout out and some love to those gentlemen. They helped raise me to the man I am today, amongst other people. But just happy Veterans Day, or I'm sorry, happy Memorial Day to all the veterans that are out there, and to those who have lost somebody, whether it's in action or just over time. I'll be taking a little trip to Fort Sam here pretty soon to pay my respects, but respect to everybody out there.
Yep. Shout out to our grandfather, me and Trey's, as he said. And he was in the Korean War. So shout out to any buddies that, or we pay our respects, that is, to any buddies that he may have lost during those times. I'm also going to pay respects on Memorial Day to my wife's grandfathers. One was Army, one was Air Force. And then I'll even say my dad, Chris's, his father, who was also in the Army. He's no longer with us. So, yeah, Big Rich, I'm going to let you, if you don't got any Memorial Day stuff, it's all good. You can say whatever you want.
No, I mean, I'd say it's the same as like what Marshall was saying and Trey was saying. Basically, all the people who served and died for this country to make it a better, make it a better place to live, and sacrifice their bodies and for us to continue to live, to not be in these conflicts. But yeah, other than that, of course, I want to show gratitude to my wife and my parents, and then they've given me everything I needed, and my wife she is the glue that holds us all together.
That's what's up.
But
I miss his Big Rich.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The names have changed to protect the innocent.
I'm coming home, baby. Yeah, exactly.
So let's get into it, y'all. Pour one out on the block for MTV News. 36 years. Kurt Loder is synonymous with MTV News.
Yeah.
Seeing that guy, break news. I mean, they even had world premieres for Michael Jackson, and Kurt Loder would do the intro. This next video.
Yeah.
MTV world premiere.
Would you say he was like the face for a while?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, easily. There's another lady, too. I can't think of her name all of a sudden. I feel bad. But whatever her name was, she's still not Kurt Loder. But no, there's like a blonde young chick in the mid to late 90s who was on there, who was just as synonymous with MTV News. I want to say, so in doing some research on this as to what the decision was, this actually, according to I think it was Entertainment Tonight of all places. This coincides with the WGA strike, and if you're unaware, there's a Writers Guild of America strike.
Mm-hmm. Another one.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while, and they're saying this one's going to carry on for quite a bit. Like I saw Tina Fey and Fred Armisen and Imagine Dragons was performing for the writers to show solidarity.
I would just
radioactive.
I would double boycott for that. I don't want that.
Yeah, I'd be like, I would just imagine some guy being like, "Can you not?
Yeah.
This is radioactive. Be gone." But yeah, so Paramount laid off their parent company. So there's Viacom and Paramount, right? They laid off 25% of their force.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is part of that.
Yeah.
Believed to be part of that cut.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was a studio that got they ran out on the lease on that and other things too. I'm surprised they didn't go the way of the podcast news segments. You know what I mean? It could have easily gone that way.
Oh, easily. And it's crazy. I mean, it's not really that crazy, but MTV doesn't really do videos anymore. Like MTV News, I think could have broken out to its own channel.
Could have been a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh, easily.
Easy.
I mean, you never know. There may be some life
maybe
after that. But I mean, Kurt Loder's 78 years old now.
They're going to put him in a test tube. He's going to do it for the rest of his tube life.
Yo, man, I would.
Yeah,
Kurt Loder was on. They had his head on Futurama.
Yeah, I was about to say some straight Futurama stuff.
Real Futurama for sure.
Yeah, man. That's the classic. But I just wanted to ask you guys. Are there any iconic moments from MTV News specifically you can think of, or MTV at large, just to show our love for the channel because we're all children of that era?
Well, they always announce when people like Kurt Cobain and like Tupac and Biggie died.
Yeah,
those were breaking news segments from MTV directly. There was no TMZ. There wasn't anything like that before.
Yeah,
so those are the things that set the precedence for like the way the modern day has kind of an obsession with music culture and other celebrities and stuff like that. I think that's kind of where it all stems from.
Yeah,
if you really think about it, it was all pop culture.
Pac was a big one for me. I mean, I liked some Nirvana songs as a kid. I still wouldn't call myself like a fan. They just have a few tracks to me. I know, don't bring the pitchforks out at me, Nirvana fans, because that's a very specific fan base that loves those guys.
I went to the bench, right? I signed it. No, I don't know.
But no, man, like that when he died, I mean, they showing Courtney Love out in the front yard crying with all the fans, and like, I mean, there's the whole conspiracy theory behind that. Have y'all heard, right?
Yeah,
they say Courtney killed him, and there's a whole thing. But actually, as a total aside to the Cobain thing, we did a study on that in my criminal law or something practices, court system practices, I think is what it was. We did a whole study on that, but that's another day. What about you, Trey? You got anything that you remember from MTV News as a kid?
Man, honestly, I don't have a whole lot that I can remember breaking on MTV News. You know, you get flashbacks or you see things after they've happened. You research a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like they reported on the Berlin Wall's collapse. Like I
yeah.
remember
Oh,
seeing,
yeah, that's right.
I remember seeing that news clip, but that was, I mean, that happened in what, 89? That was years before I was born. But I remember like going back and seeing that. And I just thought it was a very cool, just kind of place for things to come together. You know,
Yeah.
it was music television, but the MTV News brought reality in the world into it. It wasn't just all, you know, music videos and now it's reality shows. But
man, they were so punk rock back then. MTV, man, it was so cool. I mean, you could feel the corporatism happening as time went on, but they used to do some wild stuff on there, man. What about you? Rich?
For me, it was the graphics, I guess you could say, when it comes to how they were, and it's the different. I didn't really watch too much music MTV growing up, just because never really got into it, and so I don't have any vivid memories when it comes to a particular story being broke out during that time. But I do remember the hose, you know. So he is something that I remember. But when it comes to a big memory, I don't have any particular memories of what, you know, MTV News. I'm not surprised, to tell you the truth, about it, just because of what we are, where we're at right now.
Right.
You know, so it kind of needed to be done to a degree. I mean, sorry that all the workforce had to go, but you know, they kind of had to come into a degree. So, other than that, it's one of those things where, you know, it's the way that they presented themselves. It's and how they broke the news, and the host. Yeah, he was mainly the iconic person that I can always think of. You know, when it comes to the memory of.
Kurt Loder was the guy. He was the guy, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't think you could put anybody else there. I think, at least from my understanding. I mean, you couldn't put like Carson Daly back. Couldn't
Carson
put him in there.
Daly. He was totally TRL, man.
I hated it every day too. All right, we're gonna watch the same Backstreet Boys video again. Number one for 5 years. Beavis and Butthead were on there too. We always forget about that. And then like weird shows, like wasn't Aeon Flux like on MTV?
Oh yeah,
dude. It was a weird hub for funky animation, and it was artistic. I think we'll put it that way. And then the Headbangers Ball, Ricky Rackman. Yeah, dude.
So was it a show? It wasn't a show, was it?
Beavis and Butthead?
If I remember right. No. The MTV News. It was just like a small.
It was usually a quick segment. Okay. Every once in a while, they would jump in and have like these long form interviews. Like they did one with Pac in the studio.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, like that was a big one. I was trying to remember who the other lady. And I'm cheating here. And I was trying to pull her name up real quick, but I can't remember her name.
Yeah, and hopefully. Is MTV still?
I mean,
a thing?
MTV isn't what it was when we were growing up. I mean, there's a lot less music. I mean, it makes sense to a degree that they've got a bunch of reality shows, because they're the ones that basically pioneered it with the Real World and Road Rules. But all right,
it's just Rob Dyrdek Network.
Pretty much. But we can we can move on from that, y'all. That was a good little trip down memory lane, and rest in peace, MTV News. Thanks for all the memories.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Really showing our age.
All the breaking stuff, yeah. Rest in peace.
All right, so Demetrius Jamel, a.k.a. Ja Morant.
So this was pretty interesting when you guys brought it up to me. We have a lot of things that we got to unpack here, but this is a pretty interesting human story. It goes beyond sports. It's not like I don't think it's like a 30 by 30. I think it's more than that, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This isn't like just getting all the juicy tidbits. Yeah. You know, I mean, his life isn't over, obviously. They'll get, you know, as far as basketball goes.
Which is even more interesting, because we got a guy right front and center. We got two guys, actually. We'll get into that.
Yep. To get to to the end, or to summarize it, there's still a path to redemption for this guy.
Yeah.
His story isn't
absolutely
written in stone. You know what I mean? But going back, Ja Morant has been a troubled figure in the basketball world. You think about great athletes who've come from nothing. Derrick Rose, we talked about him off mic earlier.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose, a.k.a. Pooh, from the hood in Chicago, who was on top of the world, won MVP. The guy turned his life. I'm not saying he was like a gangbanger. I don't know if he was ever that type, but I know he's from like a troubled environment.
Yeah, it's rough Chicago and shit.
Yeah, man. He's a millionaire, man, multi-millionaire, taking care of his family, staying out of trouble. There's a lot of brothers out there that are like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be brothers. I'm sure there were some poor, Latinos or, I hate to say trailer, but poor whites or whatever that had a troubled background and they used sports as a mean to turn their life around and be the change that they want to see, so to speak. But specifically speaking of Ja Morant, this dude's from a small town in South Carolina. I think it was you, Trey, that said it was like 3,000, right?
Yeah, just over 3,000 people in
man.
Dalzell, South Carolina.
I never even heard of it. Yeah. So my father, and actually, let me just, before we say more about this, an additional shout out and gratitude for those who have been checking on my father, checking in with me. He's doing much better. He's getting closer to being discharged. So thank y'all. So
thanks.
it hit me as soon as he started saying South Carolina. So I didn't want to forget that because he was stationed out there in Sumter. But anyway, a small town in South Carolina. There were some jokes I've heard, not related necessarily to Ja Morant, I think, but people making fun of guys who are thugs, right? Or trying to be thugs. Like, man, you got both your parents. How you gonna be a thug? You got both your parents. But his parents were both college educated.
Yeah.
Played sports. Shout out to Big Rich being a Ray Allen fan. So T. Morant, his father played ball with him in high school. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nah,
so he was gonna, and he ended up going
to
to a HBCU, Claflin University, and he played semi-professionally overseas. And then he played semi-professional basketball, and then he was going to play overseas until his wife, Jamie, who also played ball, she got pregnant with Ja. And so that changed the trajectory of his life. His father would train with him in the backyard. One of the things that I saw or read was that his father would take like tires and make him run and jump in and out of tires to work on having a soft landing.
Yeah.
And so if you know anything about Ja Morant, the reason I'm bringing that up specifically just from a slight X's and O's kind of thing or about the game, this dude is a freak athlete, Carr.
Got the bunnies.
He's a big dude, right? 6'9".
He's tiny. He's 6'2".
He's
6'2". He's 6'2".
6'2".
But this dude, I mean, you both, Rich and Trey, both watch ball. Tell me not, this kid jumps out of the gym, right?
Yeah, he can probably grab a stack of quarters off the backboard.
He has a.
So he's.
Yeah.
I think he has they're springs, right, in his legs. Like, they just bounce up because he is so. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he says "Go gadget" dunk on him.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're not just they go. He goes way above.
Yeah, I mean, he you hear the term. Yeah, he poked on him. Like, I mean, it looks like it because it's just like this tiny guy going up against 7-footers.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's a freak athlete. Yeah. He went to Murray State, which is in Kentucky. And that's where his celebrity kind of started rising. Yeah. He was a baller in high school, but it's when he got to Murray State, he really started making a name for himself. And in 2019, the dude ends up getting drafted 2nd overall.
Would have been first if it wasn't for Zion.
Yeah.
Who he played AAU ball with, Zion. So it's like he only lost out to a dude that's from around the way,
Yeah.
And I would say, I feel comfortable saying it. I don't care if Zion's 100% healthy. I think Ja's better. Okay. I do. 100% healthy. I think he's better than Zion.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
He was better going into the league.
No. So I think that's a unanimous feel for that, right? So we bring all that up, or I bring all that up to kind of give you a little bit about his background. He gets into a string of incidents that really start having people give him the side eye. Now, before I list the incidents, do any of you have anything to say as far as anything I may have missed in this background, or Carl, do you have any questions on his upbringing?
No, it seems pretty cut and dry. He was a gifted athlete from two parents that were in the sports world.
Yeah, who took care of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go this far and say he's like a nepo baby, because you got to earn everything that you do in sports, and you can do that as an actor too. But he was set up a certain way to perform a certain way.
Yeah,
and like he succeeded in that.
Yeah,
and he was gifted enough to surpass those things too.
Yeah,
so that seems like a really good background.
Yep,
you know.
Yep. All right, so we rocking and rolling. Okay, July 22nd, 2022. Allegedly, you're going to hear that word thrown around.
Allegedly.
A lot.
A lot,
yeah.
Allegedly, he threatened the head of a security at a mall. So what happened is his mom was shopping at a mall. Some stuff kind of went down. She called up Ja. Ja rode up there with 9 dudes.
Jeez.
Super suspect.
9 dudes, right?
Just want to talk.
Exactly. I mean, you could have had 1 or 2 dudes with you, hey, just in case. But yeah, he rolls up with a 9-person posse and is like, you want Plex with me? All right. So that's like the first one. And this was all reported by the security guard. Now, 4 days later, same year, same month, he allegedly punched a 17-year-old boy during a pickup game. It got heated. And according to the teenager's report, Morant went back inside his house after the altercation and returned to flash a gun on his waistband with his hand on the weapon. Cue the whole don't be a menace.
Do we have a problem? Yeah.
Do we have a problem?
Yeah.
I think I'll just take these bunny slippers.
Yeah.
Okay. January 29th, 2023. He allegedly shined a red laser at the Pacers staff after a loss.
Ooh.
Red laser.
What?
Attached to a gun.
Oh.
Nah, we ain't talking a laser pen.
Okay. That's
like you chase a
like
cat's with.
Like a beam or something.
Right.
Gotcha.
So now he went on social media and he was going off on this. And he's like, man, they trying to get me banned from the stadium, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So he refutes that one. Okay.
That sounds ridiculous.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Stupid.
And all this ish is stupid.
Keep going.
We'll get into that. Well, trust me, we got a lot to say. We got a lot to say. Okay. March 13th, 2023. First suspension for flashing a gun on Instagram at a strip club. Suspended 8 games.
Can I throw
Go ahead.
something in there?
Go ahead, brother.
March 10th, 2023.
Well, I missed one.
He allegedly pulls up at his sister's high school because there was some beef going on between sister and some other high school students. Shows up with him and his posse and starts threatening some students. I think that was March 10th or March 3rd of this year.
I missed that.
Yeah. So that was another, nice little wrench to throw into the Ja Morant drama, threatening some high schoolers. Apparently they called his sister the B word. Apparently they were going back and forth, his sister and the other people, during a volleyball game.
All things.
Yeah. So that was one that I didn't want to overlook because that's, again, with high school kids, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're 23 at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to go show up. I mean, that'd be like me rolling up to my oldest daughter's school. She got beef with somebody, and I'm all like, come on, cuz, what you want? Threatening some 12-year-old.
Yeah. So
We'll shake you out your shoes and socks. Give me that. Let me run that lunch money.
Damn. It just makes me think about who he's hanging out with.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Hold on to that player. Hold on to that player. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I want to list these things out.
Right.
You're getting there. You're thinking this is good. Okay. March 14th. Sorry, May 14th.
Okay.
So 2 months later, in a day, second time, he flashing the gun again on Instagram. He's in his friend's car. and they're rapping, and they got dudes in it looked like a Jeep, right? Like an SUV
some
type.
sort of SUV.
And then his friend's doing this with his fingers, and then Ja got the gun.
Point that camera at him, and he's over there. He's got a gun going back and forth. It was a quick flash. It was a quick flash.
It was a quick flash, man. It was just like oops, I didn't mean
come
to
on,
do
man,
this.
get that off me.
Or you wanted a quick, like, look, he's still
not again. No, Skip.
Yeah.
No, Chip.
Yeah, so you can assume dude just stays strapped.
I mean, look, I've seen the American Patriot angle of this, okay?
Yeah.
And the American Patriot says he is not a criminal yet. No, I'm playing. He's not a criminal. He's well within his right. He's got no criminal background. He can hold on to a weapon now.
I think anybody can in this
I mean,
world.
look, we all have guns, except for I think you, Rich. We're Texas. Man, we are really Texas, aren't we?
Yeah.
We all have guns, don't have a problem with it. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, Skip. The NBA has certain rules. Shaq talked about this.
It's a public image thing.
Well, yeah, they don't, man. Okay. I didn't want to like dive into this yet, but Kyrie Irving, okay, posted posted a link to a film.
Oh,
Okay. Didn't say, hey, this is the truth. Didn't dispute it. Just posted it. And apparently there was anti-Semitic stuff in there. And that got him suspended. And he had to do a whole like list of other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with watching a movie. There's nothing wrong with reading a book. You don't have to agree with the content.
Yeah.
Right. But the NBA has a very they have a certain way they feel about it. Adam Silver's Jewish. Okay. So let's just, but it's the truth.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I'm not making fun of Jewish people,
Yeah,
but but I'm just saying, so there's a little bit for him, probably there's a little bit of salt in that. There's nothing wrong with owning a gun in America. You own a gun, you're allowed to. It's Second Amendment. But leagues have certain rules. You have kids looking up to you.
yeah.
They're trying to protect a certain image. Dude, when Rich and I were teenage boys and y'all were little boys, there was this little guy from Newport News, Virginia. He wore number 3 and he had cornrows in his head. And he went to Georgetown University. And they changed the dress code because of the way he would roll up at games looking like Puff Daddy and the Hot Boys in the late 90s and 2000s. You might have heard of him. They call him The Question. His shoe was called The Answer. Or no, they called him The Answer. His shoe was The Question.
Yeah,
Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
So they changed the whole dress code because of this guy. They gotten since relaxed on it, obviously. So I had to look at Rich because we've seen some crazy outfits. Kyle Kuzma, James Harden, Westbrook.
Yeah, I think.
But I wanted to bring all that up because at the end of the day, it is a business.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree with it, but there's a code of conduct.
Yeah.
Is that not mentioned when it comes to the code of conduct?
Pretty sure.
I would assume. So. I feel the same way.
Yeah, you got a manager and stuff when you're in the league, don't you? You get somebody who kind of gives you the rundown and manages all those big PR things because you're a public facing person once you're in the league.
Dude, they have I believe, and one of you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like a lot of these guys can't do stuff like jet skiing.
Oh yeah, that has insurance like that written into the contract. Like Michael Jordan had a basketball anywhere. Most people can't play pickup games and stuff like that within their contract. At least they couldn't. They're probably a little more relaxed on it now. But that was one thing that was like big on Michael Jordan's contract in the 90s. They're like, you want me? I'll play ball whenever I want. Like it's in his contract that he could do that. A lot of people they don't let because risk of injury.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like an investment in a way.
Yeah, your body's the product.
And insurance and all that stuff. That's a lot of different layers. I don't think a young man going into the league thinks about.
No.
Or not all the time. You probably get the first rundown at the beginning and then it's just out of sight, out of mind. And the rest of your life is dealing with the consequences of fame and money.
Yeah. 100%. What about you, Rich? What you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting I know Carl is going to get there as far as who he's been hanging around with. What about parents, I mean, I would have thought he would have learned his lesson from the very first incident. At least that's what I would think. Especially something it was dumb when it comes to, like Marshall was talking about, hitting teenage kids.
Right,
why are you doing that? As a parent, you got, as a parent, why are you not telling your kid? I mean, at the time, he's in his 20s. He's a grown man. He knows, but parenting
Right.
never ends. At least when it comes, parenting never ends. So I'm not trying to say like he's a bad, whoever's parents are bad parents, but come on, you gotta, if you are wanting your offspring to succeed, then you got to make sure that they're pointing in the right direction. And, you got to hold their hand, up to a certain degree. I get that. But if you see that they're in trouble, you're not going to let them drown.
Right.
And you're going to go and save them.
We all got different ways of looking at lessons from our parents. Maybe he's just not receptive to it. That's maybe assuming.
And I was going to say, yeah. And so, and in his instance, he's that kid. And I'm guessing everybody has their kid in their family that's going to have to learn their lesson on their own. So, okay, you want to touch the hot stove? Go ahead, see what happens.
That's it. Do it again.
It's hot, right? Yeah. So,
And then again.
So you want to keep doing? Yeah. So, and when it comes to with Ja, I mean, it's just not smart. Like, especially when you have his family telling him, at least I'm thinking that they're telling him, his teammates, which I'm thinking the teammates are telling him, you got everybody in his corner. Even fans, you would think fans are talking to him, at least saying, hey, man, we need you to stay out of this stuff. But if they're not, then hopefully he gets his life together. As far as, I'm not going to say that he's not going to be dropped out of the league, but he has to do a lot better job at making sure that he can stay in the league. And of course, going by their rules, like personal contact. I mean, yeah, you guys all mentioned it's a business. They don't want that. They don't want that business out there in their league. Like, why would you even think that as a person, as in Ja, you think that would be okay if it was like your business? That's your business. You think you would want to have your workers going out there flashing guns, gang signs,
Putting
whatever
perception out there?
No, you wouldn't want that.
For me, just to touch up on what Rich was saying about the parents in this scenario, I think it gets a lot harder to tell your kid what to do when he's paying all your bills. He bought your house, he bought your car, you don't work because of him. I think that leash that you have to do what you want becomes, a lot. What are those little extendo leashes? You can lock them sometimes, let them go when you're walking your pup. That leash just is almost non-existent when you're the breadwinner in the family. Doesn't matter if you're the child or not. And then secondly, on that last point, about the consequences that come into this, the dude's lost so much money as a result of this, like a ridiculous amount.
Endorsements.
He had a
endorsements are important.
Commercial with Powerade that was supposed to come out that they scrapped after the first incident.
Wow.
The second incident, you can no longer find his shoes on the Nike store, Nike.com. They pulled his shoes off the store. There's a lot of money that he's losing in this, and I think that's really where you have to focus on.
Don't mess your money up, bro.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing on this. Like, I don't know anything about Ja Morant. We touched on his brains, but you never know, dude. It's a town of 3,000 people. You never know what his, you're raised right. What are they gonna? They're gonna pick something out on you. Oh man, you're not this, you're not that. Growing up in high school, especially in the late 2000s, you know what I mean?
The young guy.
You got all this stuff, who's big? You got Lil Wayne and all Future, all these NBA YoungBoy, all these people that you're listening to. Oh, you should be like this. Oh, bro, you raised in both households. And then you finally get that money and that freedom. And what do you want to do? You want to be what they said you never were, right? At 22 or 23 years old. I know when I was 22 or 23, before I had my kids, I was out there to prove people wrong. You know what I mean? That was a thing.
Good point.
So I like the last video. The only reason that was stupid is because he got in trouble for it a couple of months before.
Right.
And
just 2 months, almost 2 months.
That's the only reason. Like, you're with your friends. Yeah, whatever it is. Like, do what you want to do. It's an off season. The big one for me was the Denver issue. because there's specific rules on where you cannot have gun. Like, you really think he took a private plane out to Denver? You think he bought that gun out in Denver just to flash it? No, he took that with him from wherever he was, from Memphis to Denver. That was in his bag, that was in his carry-on that he took on the plane. That's where it becomes like, now you're breaking the rules. Those are in that you can't have firearms within not league property, but when, on the league plane, in the locker room, things like that. Like,
it becomes it's a federal. I think it's a federal thing if you're traveling with guns. Well, there's certain exceptions.
Rule that's the rule that he broke in the NBA. Right. That's what got him suspended.
Right.
Or the investigation that they were looking into is how did the gun get there?
Right.
And they're like, we can't prove that he brought him with him, but like, the dude didn't buy that gun. He doesn't have guns stashed at a house in Colorado, bro. Like,
you don't know Denver. That he's
rich. That's what I was gonna say. We don't know that, and that's the thing about this story is that none of us know the inside of Ja Morant's head. I mean, only he knows. Maybe there's something that maybe there's something that we all don't know or that missed of his upbringing, to where something not being told. And that's the unfortunate part. And it's a shame. I mean, the thing is, he's still young. But 23, right? He still has a lot of life to live. I mean, you don't want to go down that same path like Vic or, other glorified figures growing up, or that he's probably seen growing up. You don't want to go down there.
Okay. I'm going to hit the Skip Bayless. Okay. My turn. That's what he always does. And he takes his papers and hits his desk. I want to tackle 3 different things here.
All right.
You touched on the rap. You touched on the people that he hangs with. You, Rich, touched on, and I'm pointing to Marsh on the rap and friends with Carr. And you, Rich, you touched on teammates. I want to start with teammates first and work in reverse order. Okay. Teammates, the Memphis Grizzlies are a team that everybody outside of Memphis hates for the most part. The Memphis Grizzlies have always been a grind. They used to call it the grindhouse back in the day. They've always been like a grinded out, tough team with Zebo and Marc Gasol, Mike Conley. Who was the other dude? Tony Allen.
Oh yeah.
So these are all guys that were supposed to be tough, but
brother.
You wouldn't. The only one that kind of got into some trouble like this was Zach Randolph, aka Zebo.
Yeah, he had some weed in his car.
Yeah. But compared to this stuff,
for brandishing a weapon,
yeah. I mean, a little bit of bud, okay, but you got to remember that was 10, 15 years ago now. Gosh, time's flying. Okay, so he's got a guy on his team called Dylan Brooks. This dude runs around trying to act like he's a tough guy, and he's telling LeBron James, "I don't respect nobody until they drop 40." Yeah, the other guy on his team dropped 40, and you got bounced out of the playoffs. This dude keeps picking fights with these superstars and getting his behind waxed to the point where his team said, we're not bringing you back. When your contract's up, we're not bringing you back.
Yeah.
They said, we have no desire to bring you back. I bring this up is because that whole team is trying to live up to a specific image. They're trying to show that they're tough. And I think that influence from the team is bleeding in the Ja, because Ja is the leader of the team. And so he's probably trying to be like, okay, since I'm the head of the snake and y'all think that we're just a bunch of fake tough guys, let me show you how real really gets. And then you've got people who are about that life telling him, that's not you. All these dudes are saying, I'm not questioning Ja's hood life and his credibility. I don't know him like that. I would never put that on another man. Unless it's quite visible that, his name is Robbie Van Winkle and he's from Texas and he's telling everybody he's from the ghetto of Miami, and he goes on to make a hit called Ice Ice Baby, but that's a whole nother story. You were going to say something, Trey?
No, I was going to say on his teammates, another thing, which is somebody's got to tell him, all those kids are young, man. They're all the same age. You got a couple of veterans on that team, but not the right kind. What do you got?
Like Steven Adams, Aquaman's on there.
Yeah, chilling. An Australian. No, you need some
New Zealand.
You need
real leaders.
Not a real leader, a relatable leader. Is what I say, because I'm not going to question Steve Adams' toughness or his leadership, but I don't think he can relate to those cats. And
he's out there in the bush, You know, he's out there hunting with his bare hands and eating fish with his raw fish with his teeth.
Playing rugby, just beating some people down. Like,
no, that's a knife. No, I'd say that is Australian. Sorry, he's a Kiwi.
But I just think that there has to be some veteran leadership on that team that can be relatable to, you know.
I agree.
A Richard Jefferson, a Kendrick Perkins. I mean, I know those guys are TV personalities now, but, you know, somebody in that stage of their career where, you know, it's, you know, we're really just here.
You need a mentor, a veteran mentor,
Exactly.
like a guy, for example, and this is now we're getting into actual basketball talk for just a tad, for a brief moment. On the Miami Heat, there's a guy named Udonis Haslem.
Yeah,
this guy's been in the NBA 20 years. Damn. This dude has probably played 5 minutes of the entire season, but he's still on the roster. He's going to retire, and he's a culture guy. Mm-hmm. He is the guy that everybody looks. He's the old head. The dude's like the same age as me. I say the old head, and that hurts.
Basketball.
Shut up, Trey.
You old
at basketball.
Hold on, Grandpa. No, I'm playing with you.
He's like the breathing, beating heart of a locker room.
Exactly. You need a guy like that on every locker room to kind of say, hey, youngster, I've been there before. Like if you watch Ted Lasso, that's Roy Kent. Roy Kent takes Jamie Tart and he's like, I hate your guts. I'm telling you, you got to watch that show. It's great. But you talk about the people.
I mean, it's not just teammates. It can't just be
that too, or anybody that's around the league. That's a great point. Great point, Rich. It doesn't even have to be someone on the actual roster. It could be or like in the NBA community, right? Any sport,
assistant coach, somebody, right? Yeah. So you mentioned people that he's hanging around with, which ties into what you were saying about the like music and things. All these guys are young. They're influenced by, like you said, the NBA young boys. And I was going to bring up Waka Flocka. Now I'm really showing my age because that dude ain't really even relevant no more, right? And this gets me fired up about one damn thing. They're like, oh, it's all Charles Barkley want to talk about is the rap music. See, that, you know, all these guys, man, I've been trying to tell Shaq, well, I'll go out there. You trying to mess with me, I'll bust your ass, Shaq. You come out here and mess with me. And it's all that rap music got these guys thinking that they tell, I'm trying to tell you, see, well, no, there's a code of conduct. No, or contact. Conduct, okay? Stop it. I'm sure rap music does have an influence, okay? But to me, and I'm not saying that because I'm a hip hop head and all of us are hip hop fans, because you can take rap and move that out the way and throw a rock into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a devil's music or whatever.
Right. Right. Eminem said it best, and they blame it on Maryland. Where were the parents at? Now look where we at. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe I'm quoting Eminem.
Yeah. That took me by surprise.
Yeah. I mean, I don't listen to him, but I'll be listening. But okay. Now going back to hip hop, who's running this? When we were growing up, you had the okay. You had and then I say we. That's Rich and I. When Rich and I were growing up, that 80s stuff was like dying out. The Cool Mo D's and the How Do You Like Me Now. Yeah. We were little boys when that came out. In the 90s, you had the leaders in the new school, the Tribe Called Quest, that conscious rap. At the same time, on the West Coast, you had NWA. You had Ice Cube when he broke away from them. Ice-T, the Ghetto Boys, you know, you had that, right? So you had rap all over that was gangster. Then Mobb Deep comes around and Nas's and Jay-Z's. And my point is, I'm not going to name every rapper that's out there because that's just, the list is too long. But at rap music, to me, at its height, when you would listen to the radio, you'd be like, okay, that's Midwest. It's Bone and Biggie. Okay. Boom, get my Biggie on. Going back to Cali. That's East Coast. Oh, there's Pac. Oh, there's Hot Boys. There's down south. You had all this different kind of rap. You would, for every I'll need a hot girl, you had to get a Get By Talib Kweli. You had stuff that kind of like positive stuff to wash out the not so positive stuff. When you listen to rap on the radio now, the only rapper that you really get that's like that, and they call him a conscious rapper. I'm sorry, Kendrick Lamar is not a conscious rapper. He's a heady guy. But I don't call him conscious like that, even though he is a thinker. And I love Kendrick. But he's not a gangster rapper. He's his own thing.
Yep.
He's his own thing. But the popular radio stuff.
It's about waking up in a new Bugatti, taking your mask off.
Getting all drugged up, perpetuating the stereotypes that make the older heads, you know, the older black heads, or older heads, period, not even just black folks, makes them mad.
It's alienating. But
Who
it's
is controlling that? The record labels are.
Yeah.
So if your problem, and I'm going to go back to Kyrie in a minute because I'm hot with it right now. If you want to blame somebody, talk to the labels and say, hey, can I get a Talib Kweli? Can I get a Mos Def? Can I get this person? And they don't even have to be those guys because they're older, but somebody that's got like positive, uplifting messages.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even listen to Christian rap like that. Can we get more of a, what's that dude? No,
Minio.
good Lord. Starts with a C or a K. Gosh, I want to say, I can't think of his name. He's a Christian rapper. He's
I don't know.
Oh, wasn't it like a Chris? No, I'm thinking. I thought he was country. Maybe
but my point is, you want to
He's
have
West
more
Coast,
positive stuff, right? You don't want to hear all the gangsters because rap is bad. All this positive or all this negative energy and guns and killing people that's influencing guys like Ja Morant and his peers because that's what's on TV and that's what's on the radio. Then let's change that image.
I say this to it. I listen to a lot of rap. I listen to a lot of different types of music, a lot of different type of rap. You can blame the label heads. They push the music, yeah, but they only push what is going to get the streams and what people are going to click on, what gets the streams and the likes and trends on Twitter. And that's what they push. And that's what these kids, not you people.
What do you mean, you people?
That's what these kids are listening to, man. That's what they want to hear. They want to,
you know why
they're living vicariously through this music, and that's the music that they're living through.
But do you know why they're listening to it? Because that's what they're being told to listen to.
Yeah, man, you can listen to J. Cole and you can listen to Kendrick and you can listen to a lot of these other people. J. Cole did a whole album on addiction that didn't get a lot of mainstream music plays.
Love that
Why?
album.
Because I loved it too, but you know, I'm not calling up the radio station saying, "Hey, you got to play this."
Give me
but
some
the people
ATM,
that are saying, "Hey, man, where's that new 21 Savage at? Where's that this or that?" And they're like, "Oh, that's what you want? Okay, we'll just keep streaming that."
You know why? You know why though? That's because we've been conditioned to have that play for so long. I'm telling you, there used to be more diversity in the game. I mean, you guys know this. I'm not preaching to y'all. I'm trying not to come off like the old head here and be like, what happened to the KRS Ones of the world? You know what I mean? And I love KRS One. But my point is like, I think we need to start looking at the systems, and I'm going to get raw black revolutionary on you. We need to start looking at the systems at play and really figure out like what's causing this, and let's get to the root cause. Let's try to work on that. And what you said, Rich, about having somebody in the organization mentor these guys, if it's not a player, I love that. They need to have a big brother program. And I'm sure they do behind the scenes. I'm sure there's a lot of that goes on. It might be at an organization level. Like they may say, okay, like the Spurs, for example, and this is going to transition this into Wemby. You got Tim Duncan coming in. Tim Duncan was an assistant coach of the Spurs. He said he dropped being an assistant coach of the Spurs because he couldn't make them do what he wanted them to do. That is the most Tim Duncan thing to say ever.
Come on, guys.
I can't make you just, it's kind of hard though. Like, imagine being in the shadow of one of the greatest players of all time. And, he's like, just do it like I did, but like different. Like, do it. Hey, I see what you're doing, but do it good.
Yeah, do it like you're tall and have super long arms like me.
Right.
Yeah, the physiology is different and everything. But yeah, maybe it's just a communication thing. Well, that's besides the point. But I guess when we touch back on this culture thing, I feel like rap in general, I guess even for the bigger part of like black culture, is kind of hitting like its heavy metal phase to look at it from an outside perspective.
Interesting.
Like it's hitting that part where it's like infamous, where it's like dangerous and sexy and like all that shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's
kind of going back to what it was for a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's taking that thing and then kind of driving it across the point, and that's like what little kids are listening to now. They're listening to like the turn up ignorant stuff. Like it's just all there for them, like on a silver platter on YouTube.
Yeah, man.
No more MTV.
He just needs a reality check.
And I think
that's my fear.
I don't know. Like, yeah, you could drive around with your friends and do stuff like anybody transcends music taste or whatever. But like, yeah, if you just get into bad stuff, you're going to get into bad stuff based on the people that you're with. Right.
What I don't want to happen to Ja is for Ja to be at the right place at the wrong time, or however you want to look at it, lose a friend or hell, catch a stray bullet.
That and also lose an opportunity because his friends or what he perceives as friends won't be there for him on the other side when he's in trouble. You know?
Well, I'm more worried about him catching a bullet into his kneecap.
Oh, that's over for a basketball.
And my
player.
man can never play. He can never pick up the rock again.
And then he's already lost millions of dollars. All this stuff kept him off of an all-NBA team that cost him $40 million. Nike's in the toilet. Powerad's in the toilet. That's generational wealth.
Yeah,
right.
To lose his gift.
Right.
Yeah.
That you're flushing out.
Can we hit this at a parental view?
Oh, I wanted to touch there because he's a dad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He's a father.
He's a dad.
I didn't realize he was a dad.
He's got a little girl who's probably maybe 2 or 3 now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He sure
And
does.
that was my switch.
Yeah, and this is just something that like I wanted to mention. Like he's a dad. Like
dad mode.
What is the main? That is the main reason to not do what you're doing. Like that, those kids or his children are going to look at this in the future because that he can't brush this underneath the rug. He can't put it in the closet. Yeah, from his kids.
Yeah, Instagram's forever.
It's going to be there.
Yeah.
So why are you not understanding this? These actions that you're doing. So I know this has been a long topic, but I just want to put that out there before we went into something different.
No, that's great, man, because that's why I wanted to hit this so quick. I wanted to have room to just talk about it.
So we got a young guy who's affected by a bunch of different factors around him, and this is how he's dealing with it in his version of his world and reality. Like, there's a lot of different factors at play when you got all the money in the world. Now, and it's not just that either,
Now, take a different guy.
Yep.
Victor Wembanyama. Wemby, as he's known.
Wemby sweepstakes, baby.
Oh, okay. So let's just start it. Let's just start it out with like the city is. I feel like in the air, the city is just more full of love and positivity now. Ever since the draft, I don't know. I saw this video, like I was telling you guys on Reddit, where like this dad was sitting in his den. There's like freaking particle board holding up the air conditioner. There's a big old TV and nothing else, and like a dog. And then like his wife's filming him. And then when they pull that number 1 for the Spurs, he's like, "We won the world pick." He's like, "I got goosebumps." Like he's just all super excited.
Yo, like for real, Rich, the vibe down here is insane. So Victor Wembanyama, or Wemby as he's known, is a French basketball player. The kid is 7'4". Sometimes I see him listed as 7'5".
Yeah.
Okay,
19 years old. He's
19 years old.
Palm of basketball.
He comes probably can palm 2 at the same time with one hand.
That picture. Yeah.
So he comes from a family of athletes.
Yeah.
Okay. His dad was a long jumper or high jumper.
Oh, okay.
His dad was 6'8" or is 6'8". His mom's 6'3".
Yeah, 6'3".
And she was his basketball coach.
Yeah, she was a hooper.
Yeah, she was a hooper. His little brother, plays ball for a club, under 18 club, and his sister's a pro hooper.
All right. Whole family. Cool.
In France.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just crazy. So when she saw that her son had a little something, she took him to a game, and an adult saw Wemby and was like, he thought he was an assistant coach.
Really?
Because he was so much bigger than the rest of the other kids. And then he was like, "Oh no, he's a player? What?" And that guy took him under his wing. Fast forward, Wembanyama is in like a camp, like with this team. He's got his own dorm. Like his whole thing, the whole way the culture got around this guy in France is that they said, "We're going to protect this player. We're going to put him through the system. You're going to play for these different teams. We're going to keep you on the straight and narrow." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's the contrast between him and Ja Morant's upbringing so far and other players in America, period, is different because, for us, we got a ton of kids that come in hot in the NBA. Those guys, when you get like the one, it's like protect them.
Yeah.
I mean, as an aside, the reason why the San Antonio Spurs, who won the number 1 pick, and he's projected to be the first pick, but the reason why this is such a big deal is because the last few MVPs have all been foreigners.
Yeah, it's the way. It's the Spurs
Joel
system.
Embiid, Congo.
Yeah.
That's where Ja Morant, not Ja Morant, Wembenyama's dad's from.
Oh, really? Okay. Nikola, that's good to know. I knew it was an African name.
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Jokic. He's from Serbia.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He won it 2 years in a row. And before him, as my daughter likes to call him, Giannis. She was like, who's Giannis? I was like, Giannis? She's like, there's no Y in that.
It's a real Texan way to be like, Giannis, man, he's good.
I wanted that Gigante flea mark.
Next year is going to be Luca.
That would be Gigante.
So international dudes always coming into the NBA is a treat because it's like a very, I don't know, something over there in Europe. There's like a magic formula that really makes all-stars.
So he played for a former Spur, Tony Parker's team, ASL, I think is it's called.
Yeah,
which sounds
sounds like some AOL,
some internet culture. Yeah,
makes a lot of sense for Tony Parker. Okay.
Press 1 if you want a cyber.
ASL, winky face.
ASVEL.
Oh, damn. Dang. That shows where my mind is, Car.
Dang.
Why you got to be right?
My bad, man.
Hey, look, man. You coming here with all them facts?
I'm politically correct, man.
But no, there's already merchandise being sold out for this guy.
Yeah.
He ain't played one lick of basketball. They're assuming like the most gangster thing the Spurs could do is not draft him.
Wow, that's what I was
all those
gonna
candles.
say. Like,
Yeah,
oh
dude.
man,
If they picked Scoot Henderson, the number 2 pick, that would be crazy.
There's a lot of talk about them trading a whole bunch of other people in draft picks
To get the number 1 and the number 2 pick.
Yeah, to move up into 2 top 5 picks.
Because they need a center and a point guard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's like a perfect, perfect
yeah.
chance.
so what?
It's like you can get a 1-2
Question:
punch.
Was this?
Go ahead,
you
Rich.
guys have have y'all been there since Tim Duncan got drafted? 97? Were y'all living there? Y'all remember?
Yeah.
Do you
I've been here my whole
remember
life,
it
except
being
for-
like this when it comes to how the craze is? Like when Tim Duncan, because he was going there.
I remember everybody being hype over Tim Duncan.
Like this hype, or
because he was supposed, not this hype, because Tim Duncan was thought to be great. He was supposed to go to the Celtics. The Celtics had the worst record that year, and the Spurs won.
but he was still projected to be number 1.
So put it like this: my family, on my Boston side of the family, they still talk about that.
Oh wow,
They
he was going to be
still talk about it.
Like,
Like, I bring up Tim Duncan, they're like, yeah, you stole him from us. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? We got Wemby too. But yeah,
It's
man.
a different vibe with Tim Duncan, though, because we were a good team. David Robinson got hurt. We had a bad year. We got Tim Duncan. It was like, oh, yeah, now we're really, really going to be a good team. It's different because we've been so bad the last couple of years, and we're just not used to that. For 20 years, we've been winning. So
it's been by
really
design.
be the bottom of the bottom, it has been by design. But, I mean, even if we kept Jakob and DeMar and DeJounte and Derek White, what do we win? Maybe 45 games? We're not winning any titles.
Right.
So
And that's the thing I was explaining. So I was having a talk with friends who know not a thing about basketball at all yesterday at a kid's birthday party.
Okay.
And they're like, what's with this Wembenyama?
Wembenyama.
I was like, Wembenyama? I thought it was Wembenyam. I'm like, no. It's not Wham. We ain't doing the jitterbug. Last Christmas. So, no. I was telling them that the thing that's huge about this guy already is that he's considered a generational talent. And generational means he could change the game for a long time. Now, there's a fear because of his height. Most guys who are 7'3" and above don't have that longevity physically. So we'll see how they work with him on that. But yeah, this guy is thought to be the next big thing. I mean, he's 7'5". He can dribble like a guard. He has a beautiful shot. He plays defense.
Yeah.
He's got a complete game, and it's beautiful to watch. If you've seen any of the exhibitions that Metropolitans did with Ignite, where the thought to be number 1 and 2 pick went up against each other.
Yeah, that was cool too.
They split the series too. It was 1-1. Wow. So yeah, man. Oh, and Wemby put up 30+ points in each game. Like 37 and 36, which is insane. So there's some little bit of sports talk there for you that we're not going to go too crazy into, but just to kind of show display the impact this kid could have right away. Now you got guys like Charles Barkley who are saying stuff like, man, y'all ain't gonna be, y'all still gonna be the third best team in Texas. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that because the Rockets tanked for years, and they're still no further along than where they were when they started the tank process. Dallas is the number one team because they have this guy named Luka Doncic, who's a stud, but they're having problems because they can't build around him. He doesn't know how to play off the ball. So the Spurs could sneakily, within the next 3 to 5 years, build and be the number one team in Texas in 2 years. They won't be next year because that's just not part of the script.
Yeah.
But
well, you never know. You never know.
But you never know
about things. You just never know until things happen. And so, I guess with that being said, why is it that your city is making merchandise for something that they don't know it's going to happen?
Candles,
because they've this city, to be perfectly honest, they're spoiled. We're spoiled. Greg Popovich has been the Spurs coach for 20-something years now?
27.
Okay.
Years.
27, I think. They've been to the playoffs 22 times.
22
times.
20 of them were in a row.
And 20 of them are in a row. Okay. They started getting rid of pieces that are contributing to other teams. I can list players and coaches and execs who have took other franchises and made them championship teams. I'll give you 5.
Derek White hit the game winner.
Derek White hit the, shut up.
Oh.
Sorry, bro.
It's a fact. No, it's a fact. Hey, man, I told you, he sold his hairline to the devil to hit that layup.
God, he took a line on that.
That's cold, bro.
That took Trey out. Hey, if you hear him talking, that's actually his ghost. He died.
He broke a rib laughing.
He broke a rib laughing. Shout out to Mike V.
Bro, I don't do that, man. My mouth
Frijoles.
Man, so
but okay, Steve Kerr played for the Spurs. Championship coach Sam Presti, GM guy. I'm giving you different people.
Doc?
Okay, we can talk about it, but
later.
I'm giving you pure champion or highly near champion level. Sam Presti's been running the Oklahoma City Thunder since Kevin Durant and those cats were there.
Yeah.
They went through their bad years and they're on the way up. Now they got a dude named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike Budenholzer was a Spurs coach, championship ring. Mike Brown was a Spurs coach, championship rings, assisting Steve Kerr in Golden State.
And then he took
Sacramento
from
Sacramento
last to third.
Yep. Last to third.
In one season.
You said Derek White. That's that. And now Ime Udoka was a player for the Spurs.
Yeah, and a coach. And took the Celtics last year to the championship in this first year. I think he's going to be good for the Rockets.
And he's going to be great for the Rockets, most likely. So these are just a few examples of their DNA. And so
this is why you make a candle. Got it.
Yeah. This is why you make a candle. Exactly.
So it's like a formula, right? It's like a magic formula that the Spurs kind of do. But yeah, there's been a process where even me as a casual person has known that they've been going downhill steadily for everybody's been banking
5
on
years.
Building year. We're building this year. We're building this year. But this is actually probably the closest I think this team will come to actually having a good start to a build.
Yeah, because we got to found where even if we go with Scoot, which we're not going to do, the city would riot.
Yeah,
the city would absolutely riot. You mean I spent $100 on this jersey?
No, some guys be like,
yo, my bootleg's expired.
Some dude's like, man, I spent $10,000 on these shirts. Like what? Like making these shirts.
Man, send them to that village in Africa, man. to go alongside the championship Boston Celtics jerseys from last year.
Bunch of alternate future like dystopia stuff. Damn. No, but yeah, that's kind of the best opportunity that this team and city has to like have that hype again, because this city really does flourish when it comes to basketball.
That's
the only thing we got.
Yeah, that's all we got, man. This is what we bond over. This is what we can all bond over in the city is the Spurs. No matter, it's a very diverse city, San Antonio.
Yep.
Mostly because of the military.
Yep.
But you get all these people, they all come to San Antonio from all over the world. Most of them end up staying here.
Yep.
Your PCS to San Antonio, your PCS in 20 other places, or do you want to retire? Well, let's go back to San Antonio. I like that town. And there's one thing we all bond over in this city. It's the Spurs and the excitement in the air that just brings after being so dreadful for the last couple of years. I'm a big Spurs fan. I didn't watch a lot of games this past year. I don't want to.
Let me ask you this though: would you?
I watched almost all of them that were home.
Being that you guys live there, are you doing what everybody, when it comes to businesses, are doing? Are you making merchandise for somebody that is you don't know, or are you just gonna just say, "F it, I'm gonna go and do it," just because I know with the history that we have that things are gonna work out? So
now you're not saying us personally, but you're saying if we're a business owner in San Antonio, do you ramp up and get ready for that?
Because you're a business owner. So I mean.
Well, we've already started. This is the inaugural episode of Wemby of the Future.
Yeah, patent.
Wemby of the future. Dang. God.
That's a good one. I like that.
That was a good one.
You lobbed me. Hey, man, you lobbed me a Ja Morant dunk there, man.
Boy, yeah,
alley-oop, boy. Appreciate you, Steven.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. That's a good question, though.
That's a great question. That's hard. That's hard to really say because you don't want to miss the boat and miss out on money because everything's a hustle everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have a hustle, but man, that's a good question. I don't even know, man.
Like if they could, they would breed little puppies with his face shaved on the side of them. Yeah, San Antonio is a place of sidewalk sales all over. Like you can go to a sidewalk and buy a blanket with Tim Duncan and Tony Parker,
and also get a paleta.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the city. It's like one big flea market, and it's a trendy one too. Like everybody banks on those kinds of things, and this is the talk of the town or our little city.
About being what did you say? He's a transgenerational talent.
Yeah, generational.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really where all the hype comes from too. I mean, transgenerational talent, and the way we work here is it may not work. NBA is different, but we expect this guy to be a Spur forever, right?
For the rest of his life.
And you're locked in, bro. You're from France already. Like we're gonna put you up there by Tony, man. When we were,
what about Patty Mills, dude? Like
put it this way, to give you guys real quick, just this headline here from the. I had to pull this back up because I want to make sure I worded it. I wanted to word it correctly. Okay, this is coming from ESPN. Listen to this, Rich. Rival execs are relieved Spurs landed Victor Wembanyama for the health of the NBA. That says a lot about the culture. Okay, when they did the lottery, right, and the Rockets got the 4th pick, Victor Wembanyama went like this, a fist pump. He was happy, like, cool, they can't get me.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And when the Spurs, when the Spurs got the pick, he was so excited. That's where he wanted to be. Mm-hmm. He's related to Tony Parker, like related as far as playing.
Yeah.
And he knows what we bring. What this team, this organization brings and does for
because you're part of the city, the fan base.
We bring support.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to. I don't want to be like that Cowboys fan that's like, this is our year.
Those boys.
Like, hey, man, we got rid of our star quarterback and we got a good quarterback. He's 3rd string. He's going to be great. He was 3rd string in the D League of football.
That's the kind of emotional tie that you have to the team, though. Like,
yeah.
That's we and us and all those other words.
True.
It's an emotional attachment. Like, yeah, it's kind of a fortunate thing to have for a city like that to come together with that. But yeah, it's all coming together.
To really bring it all together. I mean, you got, just look at what the reports are swirling. They're talking about, you already touched on it. Timmy coming back to be an assistant coach. Talking about Tony coming in and bringing up a role. Manu's already has a role with the Spurs, and they're talking about that trio specifically mentoring this guy.
And all 3 of those guys are foreigners, and DR's in it too. David Robinson.
Oh well, yeah, of course. I mean,
DR is Mr. Spurs.
Yeah, that guy.
Now, if they throw Bruce Bowen in here, I'm gonna be like, now hold on a minute. The band getting back together. What's happening?
coming for that extra ring in there as coaches. But that's what's bringing the city together. Listen to all that. You think about the people that you grow up idolizing. I went to the Spurs game. It's crazy to see their names up there in the rafters or jerseys up there in the rafters. And now we're bringing them all back together and huddling around this piece of hope that we were given with this number one pick. It's great for the city. They were honking on Commerce Street when we
nothing happened.
Picked,
and
we won, like we won the chip. I
dude.
don't know if they do this everywhere, but in San Antonio, when we win the championships,
We go
all
honking.
over the city, all you hear are people honking.
Dude, I did it twice.
Yeah, I've been there, done that,
Did it
man. Like
twice,
you just
dude.
drive around for no reason, honking your horn. Like
People get
when
off
we
on the
got
highway.
pick, that's what they were doing.
Yo.
That's how big this is in the city.
To go and hug a stranger. I hugged me and my cousin Dwayne. I went and hugged a stranger, dude. This dude was crying.
We did it.
Yeah. When the Spurs beat LeBron, this grown man, dude, like take
Crying.
you and make you 6'4".
That's what's up.
This big man, like he was a bear hug. He was hugging me, like pick me up off the ground, dude. He was like, "We beat LeBron. We did it.
We beat LeBron.
Yeah." He's like the chosen one. He got nothing.
He is unchosen.
Nothing.
He is dethroned.
The whole city was going nuts, man.
Hug the stranger.
Yo, man, yeah. I mean, you see dudes like bearded dudes just hugging and crying. I was like, man, it feels like San Francisco. All right, I'm gonna stop there. That's for next month.
I just say this. I wish I would have been at a bar instead of at home when we pulled that
dude.
number one pick, man.
Oh,
Because,
man.
the energy.
I'm gonna tell you how bad of a fan I am. Okay, I forgot what I was doing, but Trey called me.
You were doing some dad stuff, bro.
Oh, okay. Was that
I
what?
think so. I think you were doing
okay.
some dad stuff. It was like Tuesday. I think he had practice or something.
Yes, because it was before the tournament.
Yeah.
It was before the tournament. So I like he called me and he's like, dude, like I was like, okay, stop yelling at me. And then he's like, we got him. I was like, got him. It's draft day. So we got the number one pick. We got the number one pick. I was like, we got the number one pick.
It was funny because we were talking about it earlier too. You know, we were just talking about it as far as like, oh man, I don't want the number one pick because of, you like Scoot Henderson better. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. I don't think I would want him over Wemby, but that's my honest opinion at the time of the conversation. So
I just have the fear about the longevity because Scoot Henderson's that dude's built like a BA football player.
Yeah, he's a linebacker.
That
bro.
dude
He's built
is
like Micah Parsons.
Bro, he is ripped.
Basketball.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
He's like take LeBron and shrink him down.
Damn.
Right,
Like
that's kinda
okay,
scary.
and then
Yeah.
take like LeBron and Kawhi because Kawhi is ripped too.
Yeah.
He's like skinnier like Kawhi, but he's strong, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like I know this is gonna sound really funny, but I'm like I haven't seen an NBA player with ripped 6-pack abs like that in a long time. That dude was running around with his shirt off, and I was just like, man, he's really strong.
Hey man, watch us end up pairing both of those guys.
So-
So I don't think we can do that. I think there's a rivalry there. that you
So
probably
like the
don't
day after the
I
draft,
think we could pull it off.
So the day after the draft, I dropped into the office. Like everyone was all quiet and hung over at their desks. One guy rolls up to my desk and drops his phone on my desk, and it's like Wemby with the North Star Mall boots.
know. Yeah.
Is he wearing them?
Yeah, he's like in the boots.
Because it's so
tall enough.
And this guy just all like, "We did it, man." I was like, "What?
What did you do?
Yeah, what'd you do, man?" He's like, "We got him."
Fellas, this was awesome. I love these conversations we were having. These deep dives. We want to do more of these. I think this is like our bread and butter, our strength here. Dear listeners, thank y'all for your support. Man, we are coming up on almost a year of doing this, fellas.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner. Big Rich, thank you for being our first guest outside of a co-host. We had Free, technically the first time as a co-host, but he was already with us doing shows. For those of you who don't know, though, me and BR here, we're working on a little something too. So if you like the sound of his vocal cords, you might be hearing those a little bit more, but stay tuned for that.
I appreciate you guys inviting me over, man. This has been a blast. It's been awesome, just to converse with you guys, and I listen to the show, and it's just nothing but love, man. It's a really good show. Y'all keep going.
Man, appreciate that.
Congratulations on the
Thanks,
year,
brother.
and keep it going, man. So just that's it.
Hey man, pump this show like crack everywhere you are. Just like flood the streets. Say, hey, you like podcasts? Yeah. You like the sound of your friends chilling, minding their own business, talking about the world around them from their lens? I got a show for you. Try something new. Tell them listen to Wave of the Few Shore. Okay? We cover a wave of topics, a few things we know about, and we're damn sure of them.
AKA
So
the
until
Wemby
next
for a
time.
few sure. No, I'm just joking.
Wemby of the Few Shore. That's right. The new WFS. That's the sister show. That features the brother and the son.
Oh man. Oh man.
All right, y'all. Until next time, we're gonna say
Bye.